Wow, what a day. Market update here on the 22nd. Finally getting the move that I've been talking about. Melting up pretty much this whole time. And I've been talking about for a week now of a sell-off. And we're finally getting it right here. Yeah, it's exactly pretty much what I wanted. It went a little bit above where I was talking about at 402. But once we sold off hard. What is that? Basically like a 2.5% move. We ended up down 1.7%. The reason why I think is Powell said they're not going to do any rate cuts in 2023. So that's another 8.5 months of rates at a minimum where they're at now after he raised 25 basis points. And so no rate cuts. He might pause, but there's no rate cuts. So that also leaves the door open to more raises the rest of the year. If he might pause, the only other possibility is another raise. So there's going to be no cuts 2023. So that's pretty bearish overall. So there had to be something that makes the market sell off, and there it was. So getting into the chart now on SPY, this is my thesis right here. This could be the beginning of it. Another possibility. Well, actually, let's go down here and break down this chart. So this ended up being W right here. So ABC, W here at the 1.23 fib. X is a pullback. Pulls back to the 0.5 fib exactly. That's a normal X wave. And then we get another move higher, which actually goes to the 1.23 fib as well. A little bit past it. But to show you how accurate the parallel lines were on this one, you can draw it to right here for ABC, and you can see, well, not quite, but it pretty much hit the parallel line. And then we pull back, and then we can draw the parallel line from the very beginning to the X wave. And again, it doesn't break outside the parallel line. Comes close to it, not quite. A little bit past the 1.23 fib. Stopped out people that are using this as a supply zone right here because it came a little bit above it. And then we sell off pretty hard. So for as far as we went up here at 402.50, and we have top here at 418.50, I would look for something 16 points lower than this, around 364. Still, that's in weekly demand. The other possibility, we can look at the 1.61 fib, but more than likely the 1.23 fib. The only problem with that is it's past this demand zone. So if it gets to the 1.23 fib, it's probably going to come down here to the weekly demand at 368. So I'd be looking for 364 to 368 potentially. Maybe a little bit lower. The 1.61 fib is at 357. That would be the very edge of the demand zone. But yeah, I'm looking down there. The only other possibility that would be bullish is if this ends up being WXY higher. Can't rule it out, but I would say it's pretty unlikely now that we're below this supply zone right here. We have retraced pretty much all the way to the 0.5 fib though. That would be a normal X wave. However, if we zoom in here on lower time frames, let's just see. That does not look like an ABC move to me. So this looks like an impulsive move. Kind of getting back to how we were last September. That is a normal impulsive move. None of these moves are impulsive. That's why the market's so tough right now, because you have a lot of chopping. Finally, we get a move like this. It didn't quite get to the 1.61 fib, which is at 391.58. But I would imagine tomorrow we'll at least hit that and then bounce. Or it could keep on going down here to the 2.61 fib. If we did a projection based on this, let's say tomorrow it comes down here to the 1.61 fib, then we can get an idea of where it can go. So bounce to 393.60. We'd be looking at something around 388 to 387 for the first wave. Or that could be just an A wave. But we'll see. So if that's a first wave right there, if this ends up being impulsive, we'd be looking for a pullback to probably back up here into supply. So probably get something back up here to, let's say, 396.50. And then I would be looking for a 1.61 fib move down here to 377. And pull back to maybe 381, 382. And the final move down, if it ends up being a 5-wave move, would take it to 370 to 366. So you can see how the 5-wave move, just based on that first wave, not even finished the first wave, shows projections down to 366 to 370. But again, that's not going to be perfect because it's probably not going to go exactly to the 1.61 fib. So that's for a 5-wave move. If it ends up being an ABC move, we'd probably just be looking for a move down here to like 377. So a little bit, it would hold this daily demand. So 377 is kind of my minimum for this fall, and then my maximum would be like 357. So that is SPY finally getting a move on it to the downside. I was happy to see that, to be honest. QQQ, same thing. Selling off after hours. I'm still holding my SQQQ. Obviously, earlier in the day, I was like, oh, I got to hedge this because it might go to 320. But I was actually able to sell my hedge, Microsoft, at 280 because I figured that it was not going to make a 5th wave right there. So anyway, let's get into this chart right here. I think this is more, I think it's looking like it's ABC, like I talked about in the video yesterday. A, B, C right there. Could be a 4th wave though. But again, this is a very explosive move. And if it's a 4th wave, would you want to see that quick for a 4th wave? It usually doesn't come that quick. If we zoom in here, it's basically coming outside the parallel line. Did it hit the 1.61 fib yet? It didn't even hit the 1.61 fib yet. So based on this, pretty much is verifying that this is not a 4th wave. And so the ABC that I talked about yesterday is more than likely correct. And so again, the downside should start, and I would be looking for this to be a, it could be like an expanded flat, or it could come down here and just hit the very bottom of this. If it's an expanded flat, it could go much, much lower. It could go all the way down to probably looking at something around 278. If it is really extreme, 266, or we could just have a normal flat down here to 285. So 3 possibilities, but I'm looking for either a ABC move lower, so it would end up being, but more than likely it's going to be a 5-wave move because I don't see this as WXY. I think this is more A, B, and then C. Timing relationship, the 2nd to the 24th, that's 22 days. This took a little bit more than 22 days, it took about a month. So maybe it takes us about till April OPEX. Like I've been talking about April OPEX to get down here to the bottom. It's probably going to be a 5-wave move, and it looks like it has began as a 5-wave move. Something like that. And then we can move up higher. So that's QQQ. Tesla selling off like the rest. Again, the alt count is, and I guess the alt count on QQQ is also this. It could be, I don't know. Alt count doesn't really make sense on this, but I'm going to keep it how it is. It's too explosive right now to say it's going to be an X wave, so keep it as it is for now. Tesla, again, same thing. This is WXY though, and so I can see this as having an alt count where it would end up being higher. Very unlikely, but it's possible. Again, yesterday in the video I talked about I'm looking for this gap fill down here at 146 and potentially all the way down here to weekly demand at 136. Tesla, if it goes to 146, you would think that the overall market or QQQ would go all the way down here to like 268 for how much Tesla needs to sell off to get down to the bottom. But we'll look at other charts and see if they need to sell off as much, because I think that some of them can and some of them are actually looking pretty bullish. Microsoft. So Microsoft, I sold this around 279, 280 because I'll show you why. I bought it originally as a hedge, and my stop was going to be at below this demand zone right here. It invalidated a fourth wave, but then I looked at it more closely, and I saw that this was 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then this looked like a second wave. Obviously, it went back pretty far, basically to the 0.78 fib. And I sold it because I was like, I think that the QQQ at the minimum is going to do a fourth wave. So Microsoft is likely to do at least this. So I sold it at 279. It sold off at the end of the day. Looking at this chart, this also could be the beginning of a big move down. But, I mean, this is pretty much, yeah, this could be the start because this could be wave 1. Wave 2, and we're starting wave 3. Thing is on Microsoft though. Okay, I see what's going on now. So I talked about this, but I thought it was gonna be a 5-wave move. I think this might be an expanded flat. So this basically nailed the 1.23 fib. We get a first wave down. Don't be surprised if this goes all the way down to 237. 222 is kind of far, maybe 237. It could come down, be a running flat as well, and just come down here to the 0.61 fib at 260. But based on this first wave, let's just get an idea of where it can go. So 260 is the third wave right here. Pull back. To 265. And then a move down here to 250 to 255. That would be a first wave, or that's the end of it. So if you look at the 1.61 fib of 250-ish, or 255, that's at 236. I mean, it's possible that it goes all the way down to 222. It seems kind of crazy, but that would just make this whole move right here. This would end up being A, B, and then we would get the C wave after that. So this in between it would be A, B, C, like that. And then we go higher. It's a pretty crazy market. So that's possible. We'll see how it plays out. Alt counts on that. I I don't really have an alt count right now on Microsoft. Amazon. Amazon, I think it's finished with this X wave. It hit the 50% retracement. So it hit it basically, hit it exactly. So that's a normal X wave right there. So just like the rest of them, I would expect it to go down around 78 bucks, like I talked about in the video yesterday. So something like that. And then again, that could end up being, we could be extending like this, could end up being like this, same as Microsoft, like that, and then we go down. So these moves that take so long to play out, it can be kind of make you impatient, but this could last like to the summer of 2024 before the bear market's done. So that's what I see. I haven't gone over the dollar yet, I don't think. The dollar hit exactly the 1.61 fib for this W wave. Well, not exactly, but pretty close. So I'm expecting it to now go up to probably 107.50. The top of this supply zone right here is 107.20. So maybe only to there, but 107.50 based on where this went to should be where it hits. So a big move in the dollar higher should happen, and then we should get something like that. So A, B, C higher, and then drop lower after that. So that's it. If you like my content, make sure you subscribe for more updates. Typically, I do them during the day sometimes, but I definitely do them after the market every day. And these are the days that I think it pays off the most to watch my videos, because like this whole year has been just choppiness, and so a lot of times it's not really anything extraordinary that I'm talking about, but the moves develop and then eventually they finally pay off, and I think this should be the beginning. Again, nothing's 100%, but I'm expecting a move lower on all the indexes. We got SPY looking for a minimum of 372. And on QQQ, we should come back down here to at least 285, I would think. So that's it. Leave me a comment, like, subscribe for more updates. I'll talk to you tomorrow.